Hello! Yeah, and I shouldn't do that. Dadgummit. Oh, gosh. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to watch this second video in Expositimers. The Expositimers channel. Not really, it's my personal channel, and I guess people are going to look at watch reviews and see other stuff. I don't want to fool you. I'm not a horologist, and if I am, I'm a very, very, very uneducated one. I'm just in my first semester of horology school. But since COVID, I became a little bit more acquainted with the world of watch collecting. Currently, I have about 60. But the ones that I have are interesting to me, and some are very unique. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at a Philippe Beguin. That's not a prop. That's real. That's real coffee. Black, no less. For a wrist check, I'm wearing a beautiful Tennessee orange, I guess. Orient Ray 2. Great watch. I like Orient. And if Orient wants to send me any to review, you go right ahead, boys. I'll do it. But who is Philippe Beguin? Philippe Beguin is not just a watch. Philippe Beguin was a person, and let's just call him Philippe. Philippe was a watch seller in Geneva, Switzerland. Going back way 30s, 40s, 50s. And he was very well known, and he was very famous because he sold Rolexes. Rolex was just down the road from where he was. He sold Rolexes and even had his name on the dials. And so, not recently, about 2003, I saw where Philippe Beguin Rolexes were auctioned at Christie's. So they're worth something, obviously. But Philippe Beguin was having a good day, I guess, until a man walked in from across the street. And this was in 1954. Who was this man? Well, he was the last emperor of Vietnam. And what was he doing there? Across the street was a hotel, and it was named in something French that I can't pronounce. But now it's the Four Seasons. But anyway, they were attending a peace conference. Bao Dai and the Viet Cong or the Ho Chi Minhs or somebody. Anyway, they were in a peace conference across the street from Philippe Beguin, and Bao Dai was frustrated with how the peace talks were going, and they didn't go very well because he was the last emperor of Vietnam. But he walked across the street to the jewelry store where Philippe Beguin was working and owned, and he wanted to spend some money. Bao Dai liked to spend money. And so he said, I want the most expensive Rolex you have. Sell it to me. We can't do that nowadays. They'll say, who are you? And wait. Like years. But he said, I want the most expensive Rolex you have. And Philippe Beguin looked around in his store and did not have anything that really met the unique taste of this emperor. So what did he do? He calls down the road to Rolex. And Rolex sends him a very unique Rolex. Today it's called the Bao Dai Reference 6062. At one point, it was the world's most expensive Rolex. At the time, it cost 4,000 Swiss francs in 1954, which was about the same as a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar, which was expensive. And so Bao Dai bought this Rolex and wore it literally until the day he died. But in around 2002, this watch went up for auction, and the reference 6062 brought $235,000 in 2002, making it the most expensive Rolex sold up to that point. But in 2017, it was auctioned again, and the Bao Dai 6062 went for a staggering $5,060,427. $5 million. What does that have to do with the watch I'm going to share with you today? I have a Philippe Beguin. Not a Rolex, but I have a Philippe Beguin watch. And it could have been there when that Rolex was sold. Are you ready to see it? All right, let's go for it. No, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. This is just a box. It's just a Timex. Well, it's a Timex box. There's not a Timex inside. Inside is a Philippe Beguin. Check it out. Hi, Josh. Anyway, check it out. All right, I'm going to take it out of the box and show it to you even closer. Oh, by the way, orient. Here we have a Philippe Beguin. This, as you can see, is a signed, what you would call a vanity watch. This watch is amazing in that it is so thin. Well, look at that. The dial and the case and the acrylic crystal on top. The crystal is as thick as the watch itself. Now, I will show you how much that is with a little handy thingy. 7.7 millimeters thick, with a diameter on the watch of about 32. The movement inside of this watch is only 3.1 millimeters thick. 3.1 millimeters. What is it? Well, it's a Peseux, if that's how you pronounce it, Peseux. It's a 17 jewel Peseux, gold-plated, mechanical, hand-wound movement. And it was common back in the 50s and 60s, I was told. But believe it or not, all the way back then, in this little watch, that movement, beating at 18,000 beats per minute, or beats per hour, I'm sorry, beats per minute would have been something. 18,000 beats per hour with a 47-hour power reserve. Can you believe that? 47 hours on a hand-wound, 3 millimeter thick movement in a 7.7 millimeter thick watch. To put that in perspective, it's about half the thickness of a lot of dive watches, especially something like a Deep Blue. And so, what's the story behind this watch? Like I said, when Bao Dai came into the jewelry store to buy that Rolex, this watch, who knows, could have actually been there. But where did I get it? I got it from eBay. How much did I pay for it? Well, I got it in a lot of 8 watches for just above $60. And that makes it not very expensive. But then I put about $100 into it, and having it serviced by my friend James in California, and some of you may know him, and he serviced it, got it up to running top notch. And I'll even wind it so that you can see that beautiful little small second hand doing its thing. Is that not a pretty little watch? But that's one reason why I collect watches. It's not because they are all expensive, but for me, all watches tell a story. And as a preacher, an expositimer, stories mean everything. And so that's why I have this watch. That's why I keep this watch. Now, if you want to offer me a lot of money for it, we'll talk. But that's why I've not sold this watch, because the story is just too cool. Thank you so much for watching. Honestly, I appreciate it. And thank you for the kind comments that you left on the first video. Now, if you can go and leave some equally kind comments after this video and subscribe, we might consider doing a third one. So, have a blessed day, and we will see you in the next one.